Inside the Indianapolis Zoo with Matt Standridge.
Hey everyone, I'm 13 weather meteorologist Matt Standridge. Welcome to this next episode of Inside the Indianapolis Zoo. I am so excited. We've got a lot for you. Later in our Meet the Residents, we'll introduce you to the rhinos, and we're headed off-site to show you the zoo's conservation efforts in action. We'll show you the work being done here to release these hellbenders back into the wild. But first, we want to share more about the 20 years of the Indianapolis Prize, including this year's winner.
Lily's like a saint of conservation.
Dr. Lily Arison Rene de Roland, or Dr. Lily as he's known, is changing the face of conservation in Madagascar.
He's very humble, sort of a gentle giant, I think. You'd never know, just talking to him, how big a deal he is, especially in his own community. But once you see his face light up when he's talking about, his birds and the protected areas that he works on, the local communities that he's working with, you can tell this guy knows what he's doing.
His work in his home country is helping save species and rediscover ones thought to be lost forever.
It's very likely that he has prevented the extinction of several species.
A pillar of Dr. Lily's success is his approach to working with local communities.
I think he had the same progression that a lot of biologists have, in that you start off thinking you're just going to work with the animals, right? And so if you can just fix the problem with the animals, then you'll have conservation effects, conservation success. But you quickly learn that you have to start working with people too. And he is a master at working with both the animals and with the local communities to save the ecosystems around them.
And so the work that Lily has done to conserve some of the best remaining habitats, and not only to do that, not only to save those places, but to save them in conjunction by working with the local communities to save those places, is really saving some of the most important habitat in the world.
To those who work with Dr. Lily closely, winning the Indianapolis Prize is a well-deserved honor.
So I think it's really important that the prize recognizes people from the countries where the conservation work is being done. And Lily is truly exemplary of just being a leader in conservation.
Through the Indianapolis Prize, Dr. Lily will get unprecedented recognition and $250,000 to continue his efforts, something his colleagues say he's already doing with the next generation.
It's incredibly, heartwarming to see the work that Lily has done, all of his accomplishments in the past, and also what he's doing to pass the baton. His work in training the future leaders of Madagascar conservation is incredible. He's personally mentored over 120 graduate students. So not only does he have an incredible body of work, but he's also building the future in a way that is making his work not only sustainable, but hopefully it will grow. Lily's an incredible guy. He's quiet, he's soft-spoken, but he has an internal drive and a passion for conservation that is unmatched in the world, and his achievements speak to that.
All right, we're here once again with you, Dr. Rob. Thanks for joining us. President and CEO of the Indianapolis Zoo. It's prize season. Let's talk more about this year's winner and his work.
Thank you, Matt. I'm so happy to talk about Dr. Lily Arison Rene de Roland. What a great name. He loves to go by Lily, so we're just going to call him Lily going forward. Lily is a remarkable and humble man who has had a life of incredible conservation achievements. He works only in Madagascar. He's a Malagasy himself, and we're super proud to be honoring someone from Madagascar who is working to save wildlife in Madagascar, and not just working, but succeeding. So he's especially focused on birds of prey that live in Madagascar. He also focuses on waterfowl like the pochard, a beautiful duck, highly endangered. Only about 70 individuals left in the wild, and he is working to increase the numbers of that population. So a really remarkable man who is more than deserving of the Indianapolis Prize. And this is a prize gala year. We give the award every 2 years, and of course it is the world's leading award for wildlife conservation. And it's a big, big year for us, and our gala will be happening on September 27th of this year. So we're very, very excited.
I was looking up the definition of prize. Merriam-Webster says, an achievement for the most outstanding work. Talk about the impact for someone who actually gets the Indianapolis Prize.
Well, you're 100% correct. This is a long, serious process to identify someone who has done truly outstanding work in saving a species or a related group of species. Lily is one of those people. But what happens is not just the gala, not just the celebration, which is wonderful, but that's just the beginning. Because we invest in these people, in addition to receiving a $250,000 cash award, which will greatly help their work as they go forward. We know that billions, with a B, billions of people around the world will learn about their work as a result of our media efforts, including this, and that's incredibly influential for them. It opens doors for them. It allows them to have access to the highest levels of government, business leaders, funding sources, and other conservationists so that they can really propel their work forward, and we're just privileged to be part of that.
Just being Hoosiers, when you go around and talk to people, you just get excited and you're so proud of our zoo because of the prize and the work that it's able to fund. Let's talk about the history, though, of the prize. How did we get here?
Well, the history of the prize is a wonderful topic, especially this cycle, because we're celebrating 20 years of the Indianapolis Prize in 2025. The prize was started by my predecessor, Mike Crowther, and his intention was very, very clear. It was to honor conservation heroes in the same way we honor sports heroes or music heroes or people in entertainment, and to give them the kind of acclaim and recognition that they really deserve.
Well, with a lot of these prize winners, it's not just a one and done thing. They're continuing their work, and you've helped that. So can we talk about some of the past winners that come to mind and maybe updates on what they've been doing the past few years?
You know, your point is such a good one. There is not one prize recipient who has stopped working. Every single one was actively involved in their careers at the time they received the prize, even if it was 20 years ago, including up until today. Every single one of them continues to be highly influential in their work. So I think about Pat Wright, for example. Dr. Pat Wright is a wonderful woman who also by coincidence works in Madagascar, but her focus is lemurs. And as a result of winning the Indianapolis Prize and the opportunities that created, she discovered a new piece of forest in Madagascar, home to critically endangered lemurs that no one had yet identified. A remarkable achievement for her. Others who have continued to work in very, very substantial ways and very influential ways as a result of the access and resources that have come from winning the Indianapolis Prize.
You feel like then you pick the right winners, right? Because they keep on showing up.
Well, I'll tell you, we have, of course, one prize winner, but also 5 finalists. All of those 6 are incredible, but every single one of the prize winners has been an absolutely stellar choice. And to be clear, there is a jury of people, expert conservationists and people invested in the Indianapolis Zoo and the prize, who choose that winner every year, and they've just done a perfect job every single year as we've gone along.
There's another award that you guys give out, the Emerging Conservationist. Can you talk about that and this year's winner?
I am so proud of the Emerging Conservationist Award, and thank you for asking about it. That started only one cycle ago. So our first winner was a Peruvian scientist named Fanny Cornejo, who studies Peruvian primates, especially the yellow-tailed woolly monkey. This year, we have another exceptional emerging conservationist who goes by the name Badru. He's a Ugandan who studies golden cats, the African golden cat, and he is so so deserving. He has worked with local communities, invested in the local people. They are now all involved in his work across Uganda to preserve the African golden cat, which is very elusive, very hard to see, endangered, and now in much better shape as a result of the Emerging Conservationist Award going to Badru. The whole point of that award is to find someone relatively early in their career. They have to be under 40 at the time that they apply, and we'd like to support them, give them some resources, give them the kind of media attention they deserve, and help propel them forward to the next stage of their career. And my dream is that one day one of the emerging conservationists will win the Indianapolis Prize. That'd be full circle.
It's an amazing kickstart, I think, for some of these careers.
It's fantastic, absolutely.
It's time to celebrate. How do we celebrate? How does the award ceremony go? What can we expect here coming up this month?
Well, you're right. It's a huge celebration here in Indianapolis. We have a gala that has more than 1,000 people in attendance, and they will be there to celebrate Lily, the winner of the prize, Badru, the winner of the Emerging Conservationist Award, and others, the finalists and so on, who will also be there. It's an incredible, spectacular night. It's on September 27th, right here in downtown Indianapolis. If you go to our website at IndyZoo, there's more information there. If anyone wants to attend, there are tickets, but the other thing we're very happy to announce and very proud of is, of course, partnering with you, WTHR, for a 1-hour special that will air
October 3rd, right at 7 o'clock. And we make it easy. It's on NBC Channel 13 and it's on WTHR Plus, so multiple ways you can watch it.
So if you can't be there in person, you will feel like it when you watch the special, and that will be an hour recap that will give you a real flavor. And I guarantee if you're not a conservationist, when you start watching that special, you will be when you're done, without a question.
The Indianapolis Prize is one of the best things our city does. Thanks to you guys at the zoo.
Thank you. I agree.
Well, still ahead, we are headed south to southern Indiana, working with the zoo on their conservation efforts right here at home to release hellbenders into their natural habitat. We're going to be talking more about conservation efforts right here in Indiana. Welcome back. We're inside the Hellbender Lab of the Indianapolis Zoo, and we're talking about conservation efforts right here in Indiana. I'm joined by Dr. Monty Boom, Freshwater Conservation Coordinator, and you've got a little friend with you right now.
I do have a little friend with me. So this is one of our little hellbenders here. Wow. He's only tiny. When he's fully grown, he'll be, to be quite honest, I don't know if it's a he.
Sure.
It will be a lot bigger.
Sure.
And is one of the biggest salamanders here in the United States.
This hellbender, this snot lizard, he is not ready yet, but we have some that are ready to go in the wild.
There are some ready to go in the wild.
Are you ready to head to the Blue River in southern Indiana?
Always, always.
All right, let's go.
Let's do this. We're right here at the Blue River, sort of one of the last places in Indiana where you do get hellbenders. This is where we are today to release some of the hellbenders reared in captivity. So as you can see from the river, this is sort of as perfect hellbender habitat as you get here in Indiana.
So how many buckets do I get?
Got all your hellbenders in here?
It's only 29.
So the hellbenders that we released today, they came from Purdue University's Aquaculture Research Lab and Fort Wayne Zoo. We also have hellbenders at Indianapolis Zoo and Mesker Park Zoo in Evansville, Indiana.
5. So I think that will be enough for that bucket. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say, some of those are tiny, tiny.
So those hellbenders, we loaded them up in chilled coolers at their facilities. 7 of them were 400 and some grams. And drove them down here to the Blue River to eventually be released here. We load these hellbenders up in buckets.
They're ready to go. Some have some serious attitude.
And then we let whoever's out here participating in the release, they go out in the river, they put them in a net, and then we actually let them take the hellbender and put them in one of our release cages that we keep the hellbenders in for a few days.
Up a little bit so that it's easier for people.
How do you manage them? So the hellbenders, they stay in these cages for a few days just to give them a chance to acclimate to the river conditions.
Maybe. Well, he's at least squirmy.
And so they sit in these cages for about 3 days. We take those cages off.
So once you get down there, he'll give you a grunt. You can take it out with your hand.
Okay. And then they're free to go. Hellbenders are really one of the most unique species that most people would ever encounter.
Okay, I got one more hellbender.
Okay.
Yep.
They're a large aquatic salamander. They're fully aquatic. They never come out of the river. They're a very ancient species. Their lineage goes back to the dinosaurs. So they're something that if they go extinct, we're really never going to be able to recover that. So it's sort of that natural history that we don't want to lose. They're also one of the main predators in a stream system.
Yeah. Cover with your hand. Are you from Indiana? So hold back, other hand covered. When you get to that slit, the neck close enough, he will give you a grunt, but you can take it out with your hand and put it in.
Okay.
Hellbenders are something we call an indicator species. So when hellbenders are in your river, it's generally thought that your river is probably clean. As long as those hellbenders are reproducing and surviving, you probably have nice clean water. But when those hellbenders start to disappear, that sort of indicates that your water quality is dropping for some reason. The Blue River specifically, when the water quality degrades, it's bad for hellbenders, it's bad for fish, which is typically thought to be bad for recreationists, and this is a very popular river. When the water quality degrades, that's bad for everybody. You can get sick, the fishery can decrease, anything like that, and then of course, obviously wildlife populations suffer.
Your hand to release it.
I think it's wonderful to see that many people out, and it clearly shows that if you have a really good project and a really cool idea to really restore something that's so part of nature here, part of the country, part of the land of Indiana, that people are really interested. And I think quite often also in conservation we can sometimes get a bit jaded. It's like, oh, we're just doing this thing on a salamander that nobody really knows about because, they've declined so much and nobody's seen them. And people probably don't care. And sometimes you think this, but I really don't think that's true at all. If you tell a good story, if you say why this species matters and how it's kind of connected to us all.
All right, who wants to go next?
I think that's such a powerful draw, and I think the turnout today really has shown this. It's so wonderful.
I grew up in this river, and so I just love it. I remember these when I was a little girl. The more I stood on shore, I said, I'm going in. I can't resist.
We're doing great.
Get ready. Here I go. I didn't know. Here we're coming in. Oh, gosh.
But I personally do not know why.
It's funny, we can do search fall, sometime around late September.
Thank you, Nick. It was amazing. It wasn't the first time I released one. I've been fortunate enough to release another one, but it's just so squishy, and these were really active compared to some of the ones I've done. I'm so supportive of this project. It's just the best to know that they were almost gone and now they're back.
I got to release my very first hellbender. Very important to our ecosystems here in southern Indiana, and I think definitely something that everyone should try.
I mean, there's many ways in which you can support initiatives like this. When you go to your local zoo, if that's Indianapolis Zoo, even better, there are ways in which you can support the zoo. Your entrance fee supports the zoo. Various roundup projects, programs that you see in the shops and at concessions will, for example, then flow into conservation projects, some of which are literally looking at species right here in Indiana. When it comes to freshwater conservation, I feel everybody can do their bit, because obviously hellbenders need habitat like this. Lots of other things need habitat like this that will thrive in healthy fresh waters. And I think just being a little bit more wise about how we use water, what we put in our water, what we use in our gardens, on our soil that might run off into our water systems. That's already really tiny ways in which everybody can make a massive impact, though, because everything ends up in water, and it might impact the hellbenders, but it might also impact us because we also need water.
A lot of people, when they think about conservation, they think about tigers and the rainforest and elephants, all these big, beautiful things that are very important, but they don't realize that there is conservation in their backyards.
It's super important that we look after what's right on our doorstep. And the stuff that I already heard about since I moved here to Indiana, whether that's about freshwater mussels and the amazing diversity, the Hellbender project, various cool invertebrates that are sort of coming back, It's super inspiring, and I think that's really
You can physically take it out with your hand and put it in there.
something that we need to talk about a lot more often, because quite often people do think conservation happens elsewhere and it's got nothing to do with me, when it's literally all around us. We're all conservationists, really, if we want to be.
Welcome back. We are in the plains of the Indianapolis Zoo, hanging out with the rhinos. It's our Meet the Resident segment. I'm joined by senior zookeeper Amber.
Watch your horn.
So who is this? Who do we have here?
This is Zenzelli.
So is this the mom?
This is Mom,
Okay.
and this is her juvenile calf, Zola.
And tell me why you guys named her Zola.
Zola means precious in Swahili.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about these rhinos and the care for them.
These are white rhinos. There's 5 species of rhino. These guys are the prominent ones that are left in South Africa. About 16,000 of them. Unfortunately, these guys are the ones being targeted on poaching crisis because there's more of them out there.
I do want to touch on the conservation. That's your background. I mean, that's what you've been doing for
I
years.
do that outside of work, yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about how that's going.
So these guys, because of that poaching, and within 20 years, they're not going to be here if we don't get a handle on that education. So poaching of the horn is what they're after. The horn is hair, so it's keratin, same stuff as our hair and our fingernails.
Sure.
It doesn't really have any value to us per se, but there's very ancient beliefs that if they consume the horn, it'll cure illnesses. So scientifically, that's been proven to be false, but it's hard to educate and not be disrespectful.
They seem very social.
White rhinos are very social.
Okay.
So in the wild, they would be living in groups, primarily females. So you'll have mom, little ones, sisters, aunts, grandmas. The males are typically solitary. Unless it's breeding season, the male will come in, find him some friends, and then moves on.
Hi, Zola. So, do they like belly scratches, belly rubs?
She loves to be touched, so feel free.
Show me how would you do it? How would you safely?
So usually we'll give her some treats here.
Okay, she's been a good girl. Hi, Zola.
So they really love the attention, love that tactile. See if she'll slide up a little bit there. And anywhere on her forehead or her side.
Okay. Hi, Zola.
She is 1.5 years old now.
1.5. How big are they when they're born?
She was around 160 pounds at birth, and I weighed her a couple weeks ago, and she's around 2,000 pounds right now.
Wow.
Mom is 3,900 pounds.
Is that kind of the max? They roughly
Females
should
are
be?
usually 4,000.
4,000.
Yeah,
okay.
males are usually 5,000. So here's close view of that keratin I was speaking of. You can see these fibers here. So when it rains, it softens it just like your fingernails in the bathtub. It'll soften it, they'll rub, and that allows them to shape it and kind of form it the way that they want it. You can see hers doesn't really have that. She hasn't reached that stage in maturity necessarily to need to rub that. It's just growing at this point. They are not born with the horn.
Oh, they're
so
not?
that
Okay.
came in at about 6 weeks.
Okay. What do you think Zola is thinking right now? If she could talk to you right now, what would she be saying?
I want snacks.
Just wants the snack.
Snacks
Give
and
me the food.
attention. These guys are the lawnmowers of Africa. So they are grazing all the time. We feed them an ad lib grass hay, so they can have as much as they want. We usually feed about 3 bales of it. If they want 10, they can. We just know kind of their feeding patterns on the time of the year. We also give them a pellet, so that's just extra nutrition that sometimes the hay's not gonna always offer.
How do you keep the rhinos enriched mentally and physically here at the zoo?
We have a list of approved items that they can have. So food is involved. You can see around in the yard, we've got some toys, we've got some logs they can push around. Really love to utilize that horn. We can do chalk drawings. We'll kind of paint on the walls and they'll look at it.
Oh, wow. And they recognize something's
they do.
there. How
So we'll
cool.
put shapes, words, it doesn't matter.
Wow. They're smart creatures.
Yes. Scents, we'll put perfume. We'll put different like seasonings and stuff just for smell.
What do you feel like surprises people about the rhinos that they may not know?
how friendly they are. Now
Yeah.
that's with white rhinos. Again,
Okay.
the other species are more solitary, so they're usually a little bit more standoffish, but you'll have different temperaments. In the wild, mom will protect that calf. She'll fight till death protecting it, so you do not want to get out of your vehicle if you're on safari, try to get closer pictures, kind of respect their boundaries.
So you're talking about the calf, Zola. You've been with her since day one. How has that been like?
Amazing.
Yeah.
She is our first live successful birth, so it was a huge accomplishment for us. It was important for her to grow and mature and turn into the little sport that she is.
She's so precious, just like her name. We were talking a little bit about the weather. Right now, it's a cloudy day. We're in the 70s. How do they feel about weather like that? What would be the weather that they would like the most?
They probably would like a little bit more sun than right now. However, we're out of that heat index, so I think today they're going to be more active.
Okay.
It's not a lot of energy to expend when you're not hot and not wanting to eat. So they are active today. I'm sure the other two on exhibit are not spending as much time in the mud wallow today because it's not hot out.
Let's talk about the mud, because you said they don't sweat.
They do not.
Talk about the process. You've got a good mud pit ready for them.
They do.
What do they do with the mud?
They will wallow kind of like pigs. So they'll get down on their sides, kind of coat most of their body. That mud cools them down, protects them from insects. So they will get some bug bites on their legs or their cheeks. And then actually when it dries and flakes off, it exfoliates dead skin.
Well, these are precious creatures. And no wonder that you've been working most of your life to conserve them.
I really vow to try to do everything that we can to keep them around. I love all the animals in my care, but rhinos do have a special place in my heart.
And we are so excited to highlight all the conservation efforts the zoo does here in Indiana and all around the world. Make sure you catch us every month right here on Inside the Indianapolis Zoo on WTHR+, and we have more content available on WTHR.com. We'll see you next time.